Hello all, my name's Nat and welcome back to the shop. Okay, I'm back to my normal intro. I'm Nat, welcome to Nat's Knackers Yard. This is my Knackers Yard. A little bit of an homage there to Matt at the workshop, or now Dirty Garage Guy, because he's changed the name of his channel, much to the disapproval of many, but it's his channel. Why am I paying homage rather than take the piss? It's because I've had some nasty comments and I thought I should spend 20 minutes talking about them. That's not a dig at Matt, he does it beautifully, and by having a considerably larger channel he really does attract some bell ends. And actually I don't, it's a smaller channel, and actually all the comments I get are constructive, and I fucking love it. It's, you know, you're following me on my hobby, so therefore any comments are worthwhile and more often than not right. And the comments you had on my fucking around in the sun were completely right. It went horribly wrong. So what have you done about it, Nat? Well, what I've done is, I've not used my microphone today because it kept dying on me and I realised one of them isn't charged. I did have a shape cut out. I'll see if I can dig out a bit of footage and chuck it in the corner. You know, a more... so cutting round the forks, etc., and it just wasn't working. And I think there's a reason for that, and there's a reason why all of them that you can buy for CAFs, for Sportsters, for whatever, for custom builds that you can buy from Tintranet are sort of elliptical pill shaped, I suppose. So that's what I did. Cut one out in card, worked out roughly what I could fit out of the fuel tank that I've done, and chucked it on. And it's not, I mean, I tagged it on last night just because I'd annoyed myself. It had gone quite so badly, and it looks a lot better, I think. That said, it looks a lot better, but I'm still not convinced by it. Obviously this is temporary banding because it's what I had. I might try something better on there just to have a look, but what I have done is I found, I couldn't find a Sprint mudguard. I could find one in Bristol on pickup, which through family links, etc., I probably could have done, but I think it's 36 quid. No. So I found a Triumph Trophy that looks the same, I don't know, for I think about 18 quid. So I'll see if that fits, or see if I can make it fit. And I'm not going to put it on a hole anyway. What I'm going to end up doing is cutting away and just making it, I don't know, fit the bike a little bit better. But that's kind of where I am with that. Realistically, I was arsing around in the sun. I don't have anything to do. I've got lots to do, but I don't want to fuck around with it, bearing in mind that I am taking it for ULEZ tomorrow. So I didn't want to do anything that's going to, you know, take it off the road. I think there's no point, you know, trying to do things like I'd like to tidy up the exhausts. I don't really want to wrap them because I had bad experiences with wrap, but I might on this. It would suit the bike. If I'm going to wrap it, I'd prefer to do the exhaust off the bike to wrap them, because at least I can tidy them up rather than just wrap over crap. I can do something with them, but there's no point me going for header bolts or anything like that, because if they snap, I'm fucked and I can't ride it to the ULEZ centre. So I don't want to do anything too constructive. What I do want to try today is just to give me a little bit more room for this, which it doesn't, you know, I have test ridden it like this, it doesn't touch, it doesn't come close. But saying that, I haven't been over any huge speed bumps. So what I'm going to try and do today is just jack it up a little bit, just as a little bit of a tester. So what I'm going to do is chuck a load of WD on that fork around on the suspension around the threads. Let me see if I can drop you a little bit. There we go. Chuck a bit of WD on the threads. It's got a lot of wind left on it. I can still see fucking threads down there. Christ, that's going to really jack it up. And just try and take the weight off a little bit, and then see if I can just stick a screwdriver in or something and give that a spin with a mallet. Talking of jack up the weight, I'm now putting this on a block of wood because it's just fucking digging holes in my driveway. Helped by a little bit of sunshine, obviously. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to try and achieve today. So let's get on with it. Right, and there we go. That's my budget setup. A little bottle jack would be really handy here, but I haven't got one. So I've got my full jack. That is an axle from something. I don't remember what was that from. Phaser, I think. Now I'm not trying to jack it up high. I just want to take the weight off that suspension off that. Suspension. Yeah, that'll do for now. I'll put the word up in the bottom like I normally do when I've forgotten it. Just while I'm doing this, a couple of bits and pieces. So obviously I've churned out a few bikes, not that many actually in the grand scheme of things, but a few. See, once I've done with them, I keep a couple, but I put them on the market. How far I can do this? Is that working? What I am going to do is chop that back wheel. Yeah, so the bikes exist in the real world once I finish with them, and somebody generally buys them. Now, bikes being bikes, we collectively as bikers, and that's working. Well, fuck me. We, being bikers, tend to chop and change our bikes, so they do get sold on and sold on and sold on. That is pushing into the tyre. Right. Right, that seems to have taken some of the weight off. Yeah, so get on with that in a second. I'm talking bollocks. One of the viewers, Freddie, has come back and said, "Oh, I've just bought one of your bikes." So it is my first bike, the bright green, lurid green, overly green, but quite cool GPZ 500, which I have seen on the market before with somebody selling it for more than they pay for it, which is, you know, their prerogative. I think it was my first bike. I sold it too cheap. I got it really cheap, and then probably sold it too cheap. But it looks like it's been thrashed. Looks like it's been vandalised, painted, etc. He is, when he gets a collection of it, he is going to lob me a picture and see how it looks now. But that's great. I love that. And from his perspective, he has a bit of a video diary in my videos of what's been done with it in the past, which is, you know, golden, frankly. So yeah, nice one, Anthony. Hope you enjoy that, mate. Hope it hasn't been trashed too much since I've played with it. What other bits from viewers? Mike, one of my early viewers actually, and in fact, those are Mike's stands over the back, bike stands, the purple ones. That he very nicely donated to me, and I've still got a box of stuff from you as well, mate. I've used some of it, but I still keep dipping in. Yeah, about up with Mike. Excuse me. Bought him a coffee. He's still watching, but yeah, Mike's still in comms. He came up with a quite good suggestion actually, one I hadn't thought about, on the handlebars. So I want to clip these at some point, and then again, all of this is post ULEZ, assuming a successful ULEZ. If it doesn't get a successful ULEZ, frankly, it's not worth the effort. And he suggested using the original bars and putting them underneath, which is what I'd looked at, but with the angle of all of this sort of shite, I just don't think it's going to work. But he suggested flipping them over and turning around, which isn't a bad idea. Now, the only concern I've got is these, they're not risers, but that's the effect they have. If risers would become, I don't know, fallers. is there such a word as fallers? Risers to fallers. So effectively, that's what, do some good old mechanics measuring. That's 4 fingers, 4 fingers. So that would be 4 fingers. So the bars would be at yay height, which is, you know, around where that plastic cuff currently is. Would that work? I don't really want to put my bike on it at the moment because slung up. Would that be too low? I don't know. I've got me fat belly on the tank. Don't know. I'll have a look at that. Thanks, Mike. And that is exactly my point on subscribers and comments. I don't know what it is. It might be because my channel's small. Well, small. It's bigger than it was. And I'm approaching the mythical 1k mark, which I'm dead chuffed about. Might be because my channel's small. Might just be because I'm fucking lucky, frankly. But I seem to be remarkably short of bell end comments. All the comments I get are constructive. Don't get me wrong, they're not all blowing smoke up my arse. I don't need that. My ego's big enough as it is. But it's all constructive stuff, and it's all honest stuff. Pointing with my tea. Fuck me, I am turning into a mechanic. The mudguard first solution was fucking horrible, but frankly I was just pissing around in the sun and I was bored because I wanted to do something, but I didn't want to do too much, so I didn't want to jeopardise the bike working for the ULEZ. And it turned out pretty fucking horrendous, and people were willing to say that. Not that it was horrendous, to say, nah, not for me, why don't you get a proper one? Yeah, okay. We'll see what happens with that proper one. I'm not even sure the one that I've ordered will fit, but we'll have a look. Right, I'm going to see if I can get to that shock. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Get to that shock. See if I can give that disc a bit of a spin. Let's see, shall we? Right then, let's go for some exploratory taps. Not sure what you can see, or even if you can see me. But I'm assuming a bit of tighty-righty. I don't know if that's locked off at all. Let me have a look. Oh. I don't know if there's a little locker in that. Looks like there might be one. Ah, there is. Right, before I start banging the hell out of it, it looks like there's a little Allen. I'm going to have to take you off the stand. Apologies. That's you back in. See, on the collar there, I really should read the book before I try things like this. Looks like there's a little Allen key, like lock nut on it. So I very much doubt I'm going to be able to do this one-handed while I'm holding on to the camera, but oh, I am. Fuck me, what's going on here? Which would be why when I was just giving it some exploratory taps, I wasn't getting anywhere. I'm glad they were only exploratory ones and I wasn't trying to whelk it. Now, because that's tiny, and if I'm belting around in here, I'll vibrate it out. This is terrible camera work, Jesus. Hey, my production value is okay, but it ain't great. Let's just whip that all the way out. So we get it halfway out and start chucking a hammer and things and tools around here. I can see myself losing it. And I can't imagine finding another one of these is going to be easy, he says as he tries not to drop it. Yeah, so where are you? Where's your camera? There you go. Little knocking piece there, which is good to know. Right, let's see if I can. I don't think there's another one of those. I can't see why there would be, and I can't feel one. Right, let's see if I can give that a knock now. Let's get you mounted up on the other side again. That was a good spot. That saved me. There you go. Perfect proof that I really don't know what I'm doing, but I'll give it a go. Right. It does mean that I probably need to stop it somewhere where I can still see that mark. This is probably doing that no good. We need something flatter than a screwdriver because I am scoring that surface. Better. I think better. So that's a front pivot from something. But it's got a bigger, flatter end. So I'm not digging into it quite so much. Hello little hole. So that's 180 degrees. I think in for a penny, in for a pound. I'm just going to do it all the way back round to the other side. Right, there we go. That's a full 360 tighter. Let's just get you set up so you're not going to fall over. Job's good. Right, let's get the number plate back on, see if it's made any changes first. Now, I'm not expecting it to be any higher. Necessarily. Should just be stiffer, so I'm less likely to hit the number plate if I go over a pothole. By Christ, there's a lot of those around, let's face it. Right. A slightly bodged number plate bracket, but it'll do for now. So for Monday, I'm all sorted. So I've got temporary insurance for this thing. I've got some other domestic chores to do beforehand. I have had to change the time once because life. So I had to push it back till I think 12 o'clock. Can't remember at the moment, but I'll have a look later. I'll make sure I've got everything nice and charged up. I'll do a bit of filming on the way, because as much as I hoik this up and down the hill, I haven't done anything more. I think that's better. Yeah, so I've got temporary. Keep forgetting I've not got my mic on. Temporary insurance is sorted. So obviously it's MOT'd. Ah shit, I'm going to have to tax it. Forgot about that. Do that later. Right, you'll get a better view of this than I will. So let's put you somewhere. No, let's get you somewhere a bit better. I'll do you. Right. keep slamming my arse down. I can't make it hit. That's close enough, that'll do for now. I know how to do it if I need to. It gets close, but it's not going to touch. Right. That'll do. Right, one thing I am going to do before I pack up, it is Mother's Day. I'm really chancing my luck by being out here. Not that my wife's any sort of tyrant, but I just don't want to hide from her for the day and hide from the kids. Whoa, camera's drunk. I'm going to take that off because obviously that's not going to, I don't trust it at the moment to have wrapped around my front wheel. And it's only tacked on anyway as a mock-up, but yeah, I think that'll do. In fact, let's strip it off. Right, so there we go. That's abortion removed from the front there. Yeah, so I'll get the original, get the trophy one, see what it looks like, yada yada yada. I'm toying with whether or not I need a rear hugger. Don't know. I don't think it will suit the start. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm ready for relays. I do need to pump up the tyre. I haven't pumped it up since I repaired the slow puncher. I say repaired, I'm not entirely sure I have, but it doesn't seem to be any softer than it was before. Yeah, so what's the plan there? And I'll tell you what, I'm going to expose a little bit of my thinking here. Now, harking back to the MCM Roadshow, I was struck by one bike. Well, struck by several bikes, frankly, but I was struck by the paint job on one bike, and that bike was this one, and I'll drop it in here. Favourite bike so far, the Indian with a sweet paint job. A Scout again, I think. CC. Indian Scout. Classic race car paint job. I could do that. Oh, fucking inspiration. I could do that. Right, so dodgy editing aside, can you imagine that paintwork on this? I think it would be fucking immense. But it's not worth the effort if it's not Ules, I think. And it needs a shitload of tidying up before I do anything like that. But that's, there's a little bit of an exposure into how my brain works and where I'm potentially going. That's what I'd love to do with this. Now, I'm not quite sure what I'd do with the colours on these, but I'm pretty much set on the fact I'm going to keep these and put the circular indicator on it. And again, this is all conditional on Ules and MOT, frankly, full MOT. So not quite sure what I'd do with those. There's a couple of bolts on each side here, so I could theoretically put something on there, a plate or something, I don't know. A plate, maybe a race number, don't know. Yeah, so that's my thinking. That's where my brain has been for a little while, and I purposely haven't exposed it. I don't want to give too much away, but something like that would be freaking awesome if this is Ules compliant. And more of that tomorrow. That'll do me for now. I'll keep it short. It's Mother's Day. Cheers all. Thanks very much. Catch you later.